All right, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. All right. I've got my chat open, so feel free to chime in. But today we are going to be talking about group hang invites in Canva. Yes, I made that up, but it makes sense to me. So we'll dive into exactly what that means here in a minute. But I wanted to do a quick introduction. I'm pretty sure almost all of you know me, but for those of you that don't, I'm Kate Steadman. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at Choice, which means in addition to helping to build the systems and infrastructure that helps both Choice and our agents thrive, I am someone that helps organize our trainings. But in addition to all of that, I am a huge lover of Canva. Why? Well, because first of all, I can't help myself. I come from a design background and I absolutely love the software, but it's so easy to use and it can be implemented in every aspect of our business. As business owners, I believe that we owe it to ourselves to keep our tech stack as consolidated as possible so that we can be good stewards of our finances. And Canva allows us to do just that so that we can utilize it in every aspect of our business. And so that's why over the past few months, I've made it really our mission here to dive into all of the use cases that Canva has within our business. So we've talked about our foundations, our email signatures, reel covers, postcards, all of the things. And like we just said, today we're going to be talking about group hang invites, quote unquote. So we'll get into exactly what those are in a minute, but I want to real quick go over what we will cover. First and foremost, yes, we will talk about what they are and why they matter, but then we'll also dive into the ideas for the events that we will use them for. And the idea being that we should lean into our everyday. If you guys know me, you know that I'm all about alignment and showing up more fully exactly where we are, not just doing more for more's sake, right? And so the more we can show up with intention, the more it will show up in the way that we interact with the people around us. And so I'm going to spend a good amount of time there today because, quite frankly, once we get into three, it's going to be very fast. Canva's templates for this are kind of chef's kiss. We will have to edit very little information to make it what you would want. And so we're going to talk about kind of the why behind all of it. We'll go into a few examples and then we'll showcase a few aspects of customizing them because, again, already you have the foundations for how to do that. This will be a pretty fast class, but that said, feel free to unmute or chime in at any point. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat as we can. But before we get into all of that, I do want to talk about a few likely uncomfortable, likely already well-known facts. One, as an agent, we are also a marketer. Whether we love this and we are someone who could spend forever in creation and wish that was all that we did, or if it's something that we absolutely dread, unfortunately, the more we can lean into our brand and position ourselves as such, then we create more market share for ourselves, right? The more we are in front of other people, whether in person or online, we are creating an opportunity to build a relationship and therefore trust and therefore conversion in the long run. Additionally, we need to lead generate. Another thing that we likely dread, but is required in this business. Even referrals require nurturing. And as with any business, we need incoming opportunities. So the more we can expand our database, the easier that will be. And my goal here is for this to be an opportunity for you to do just that, again, in a way that feels aligned and a part of your everyday. So that is exactly what a quote unquote group hang invite is, right? It is that evite that you send. Maybe it's that group text or one-off text. RSVP might be required, likely not. And it's just something that is simple and elevated. This is something that you would already be sending or something that you are already doing. We're just making it a little more polished. Because here's the other thing we need to say out loud. The way that we show up every day sets the tone for what people would expect it would be like to work with us, right? Like, unfortunately, we as humans are always drawing assumptions from everything around us, including the interactions we have with other people. And as agents, if we are showing up late and disorganized, then unfortunately, these people who have not yet worked with us are going to likely associate that with us in our working relationship. And so, how can we show up in a way that communicates what it would be like in the largest financial decision that they will make? Are we organized, relatable, strong communicators, trustworthy, going above and beyond? And in my opinion, these are one of the easiest ways we can do just that. They might be silly and just a little bit over the top, but they do show that we will take that same care and diligence in anything that we do. And so, in what we're going to be talking about, we want to, again, lean into our everyday. and talk about where we already are. How can we be more intentional and more present and show up in that representation of what we want to without, ideally, big underline here, having to do some big expensive client event. They have their place on their own, absolutely. And yet, I feel that so many of us are walking through our everyday, missing opportunities to deepen connection. We're all busy, we're all on our phones, we're going places. And so we miss these opportunities to deepen the relationships that are right in front of us. And that's my goal here today. So, where can we do this in your life, in your business? How can we show up more in the everyday? So I'd like us to ask ourselves, where are we already spending our time? Whether it's something that you enjoy or not, whether it's errands or where you are already working, if it's something that you want to lean more into, maybe you have kind of this dream day that you would like to manifest. Maybe this is somewhere that you already have on your calendar, whatever it is, could be something that you've always wanted to do. Likely the thing that should be your first step is the thing that either is already in front of you or is something that you can't stop thinking about and you have always wanted to do. So let's start there. So I want to go through a couple of examples and then we'll open it up to get some from you guys in your everyday. I would love to make this a little interactive, but let's start with one example. You've got a toddler. You love spending time at the park with them. You want to explore the other parks in your area. You want to get to know the other moms. And so, why not make it a monthly meetup at the park? The same day each month at a different park each month, right? Like, we want to keep a little privacy. We could post about it on our story saying DM me for details. So, one, as a bonus, we get some engagement to our account because when people are responding to our stories, it's boosting the algorithm. It's not public knowledge again. So, we're kind of able to gatekeep. We're not going to be showing up at the same time the same place, but it would allow us to build community in the places that we already are. You never know who else is looking for that same thing. And I think that's another thing that's important to recognize here. Be the person that does it, what other people are thinking about, right? And it also could be something that you are able to translate into a reel while you're already there at these different parks. You can take video that can turn into a different post. As a kind of a side note. But you could post something along these lines, right? Maybe your business is focused in Cary. You've got a few parks that you go to all the time because they're right down the street from you, but most of your clients are move up clients. They have young families and they are always asking you for advice on where they should be going. And so, what better way to lean into your everyday, to lean into your ideal client, and to show up more in your life than something like this? Or you're a bookworm and you want to start a book club, or you already have a book club and it's your turn to host it next month, right? You guys already have that group chat going. It's already known. Maybe you just take something simple and pop it in the chat and saying, can't wait to host you guys. Here's my address, right? Something so simple. Or you are at that phase in life where all you are doing is being a chaperone and driving everywhere for your kids. You're at practice all the time, but you also are trying to work on your fitness game. You want to get your steps in. And so, why not make a little walk club, right? How cute would it be if you sent some text like this to that group chat of parents that all have a lot going on and say hey to one another occasionally, but you want to get to know them more? Why not just make it intentional? And all of these things, I think the important part to recognize is you're going to do it regardless of whether someone shows up or not, right? And so the first few times it might be a little clunky. It might be, they might be hesitant to step in, right? But if we show up with this intention, I think it kind of cements it when we create something like this and send a graphic of this sort. It's more intentional than just a group chat, right? So our goal is not to overthink it. It's just to lean in to what we're already doing. So I'd love to kind of hear from you guys what examples you have. What have you been thinking about? Where do you spend your time?
I'll talk. Um, I play tennis, and oftentimes now that it's hot and some people are injured, getting together just for a happy hour, maybe once a month, something off of the court where you have more time to talk about other things, just a group meetup.
I love it. And that could be so simple. You could have like drinks on it, but also have the tennis rackets on it and be like, let's keep the game going or keep the convos going. I love it.
Hmm.
What else you guys got? Cool. Well, I'll show you a few of mine. If anyone wants to chime in, feel free. Here are a few that I've created. This year we did a little boat party, so I created this invite. We'll talk more about that in a moment. We love to do the Friendsgiving at our house each year, so we sent this last year. And both of the, well, this one was sent in a group text. Again, I'll come back to that one in just a moment. But this was the one that was my absolute favorite. If I was still in production these days, this is what I would do. We love coffee. I love working from a coffee shop. I just love kind of that general vibe. And so we decided to host a coffee shop morning at our house one Saturday. I made some quiches. We had drip coffee, espresso, a few sweets, and we just invited people over. We also had like a brand new sauna and cold plunge installed. And so we just sent this as a group text to our friends, right? We could easily have just texted all of that info, but we popped it in the chat just to add a little zhuzh to it, right? And so to start off, I would just send this to my friends. But if this was something that we wanted to, if I was still in production, I probably would the next time quarterly feels good to me, right? This as taking a step back, any of these things can be done once or they can be done repeatedly. Like take that threshold of expectation. This needs to be something that you do every single month away. It doesn't have to be that case. So for me, this would probably be quarterly. And I would start then expanding slightly, inviting a few neighbors that I'd met, or then having them bring a friend or two, right? Like just opportunities to slightly intentionally expand your circle and therefore your database in a way that feels good. And so when we're doing all of this, I like to keep in mind, one, who am I inviting? Is this going to be friends, people that are already in my group chat? Maybe they're acquaintances, like the people you play tennis with, or the people that you're in book club with. Like you've got those kind of beginning conversations going, but you want to get to know them deeper, or these completely new contacts. And how am I sending it? Is this going to be a text, group text posted on social media? And therefore, what type of design do we want it to be? If it's to my friends and it's a text, I'm probably going to make it pretty detailed, right? Because I want the body of the actual text that I'm sending to be pretty small. Or if it's acquaintances, I'll probably make it kind of moderate. And then with new contacts, it can be one or the other. If it's on social media, I might keep it kind of vague if I'm trying to get that engagement and maybe gatekeep a little bit. Then that way they are responding to my DMs and I can send them the rest of the information privately. And then another question is RSVP required? Because at the end, I'm going to talk about a few platforms we can use to publish these if it is something that you want to distribute to the masses. All right, so let's dive in. That's what we came here for. So let me get out of there real quick. What we're going to do, and again, this is going to be pretty fast because their templates are already doing a lot. So what you're going to do is come onto your homepage of Canva, and you can do one of two things. You can either click templates here or you can click them there. Either way, it will take you to the same exact page. And from here, it is up to you what you do. Now, I like to say my goal with all of these is normally to start by gathering inspiration and then is always to try a bunch of different options out. I normally will just know something once I see it. And so I don't have any hack here other than to just kind of dig in and see what catches your eye and what feels like you. So we could click invitation. If you do that, it pops up kind of your standard invites. And actually, I think if I had typed invitation earlier, it pulled up different. It's going to be kind of, no, same stuff. Kind of your birthdays, anniversaries, baby showers, things like that. I think you could easily call and do something kind of along, not necessarily these graphics, but something kind of hand drawn that feels very like polished, but still casual, right? But you can dig through this type of stuff. And anytime I'm doing this, I'll typically start on this page, but then I will simply start typing what it is that I think is kind of the underlier here, right? So maybe a happy hour. We've got some cute ideas. I love this one. And it's up to you on how busy, quote unquote, or how detailed you want it to be, or what your style is, right? As you can tell, I'm kind of drawn to these handwritten type ones right now. That's my style at the moment. But whatever catches your eye, or maybe that's not it at all. Maybe you want to try tennis. And you saw right there, it pops up tennis flyer, tennis poster. I want to talk about that for a moment because you can come in and click create and type in invitation. But if you do that, it will automatically start by pulling up a bunch of different sizes. And that will kind of limit, it will mainly just pull up a blank canvas itself. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just know I like to start here because this is going to give me everything. It's going to give me invitations, social media graphics, flyers, anything like that, because then I might find a flyer that I really like the design of, but I can just minimize the sizing of it, right? So anyway, you're going to find whatever fits your fancy. Maybe you want to do a book club. To do that one for now. And once you find one that fits your style, it's so funny. It pulls up so many different ones every time. These aren't at all the ones that it showed me last time. Oh, I'm an invitation. Let me have that. Okay. All right. So maybe this is what I want to do. When you pull it up, sometimes it will pull up simply like this, and you'll just click customize. Let me see if I can find another one. Occasionally, it will pull up like this where it's trying to make it a poster or something that you would have printed. So it will automatically try to push you into Canva's printing space. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about all of that. It's going to look like it's costing you something it's not. So you can go ahead and click customize template. Also know as you click into these, it's going to start to get a feel for your style and populate even more that are similar to that, kind of that like see more that are similar vibe. So you can pull any of these. Often this is kind of how I am with online shopping as well. I'll open a million tabs of things that I like. And so as I'm going through, that's what I'll often do because I hate when I see something and then can't find it again. So I might just go ahead and click open into a new tab for some of these. But what you're going to do is you're going to click into them. And then simply, as we've talked about before, we had to undo anything that you see that you hover over that has a purple rectangle around it means it's its own element, which means it is editable in any way. You can adjust the size of. If it's text, you can change the color of it. As you click on anything, any way that you can edit it will pop up above everything else. And so here you see all of these books. It looks like I can probably change the color of them if I wanted to. It can be a little funky with how it does it because it's tethered to different things, but just know that you do have options to kind of edit them. So maybe I'll just say book club. Join our book club. I'll put in our address. And then I might delete one of these and put the details like add text, body. Wow, I can't even see that. Actually, I might just copy this, which I can click here and Command C and Command V, or at any point you can click duplicate for anything. I just say like bring your own book. Right? And I can go into details talking about what it is that I love or what they love. Or it could be like, this is the book that we've chosen. Our options are endless. Maybe you are someone who loves plants. You've got a million plants in your backyard. You've been propagating them, and you're like, well, let me get rid of some of these, right? You could do a little pot your plant night. So I might just search for plant, and you'll have a ton of options. And the same thing, you'll just pick whatever speaks to you. I'd probably do this one. Again, it's going to give me a ton of options. I don't really care. Doesn't matter. Okay. And so once I'm in there, I can, again, select anything. I spelled that wrong. Anyway, you get the point. So you can adjust anything that you want. Now, the thing that I wanted to talk about is once you are within any given design, you can do the same thing that we just talked about over here, where it will populate other options that are similar. And so what you can do then is go in, click add page, and click templates. And again, from there, you can search just like you would. Plant sale might be a good one. I feel like that would generate a good number of templates that would be similar. And from there, you can click any of them and it will add it. Now, if I were to click another, it will replace the design of the page that I'm on. So just make sure if you do want to kind of keep browsing that you click add page and change all of them from there so you're not deleting your work, right? Like, I don't know about any of these. Now, another thing I want to I want to reference is it will write the name of your work as the template name, which is fine when it is your most recent design in Canva and you can easily find it. But when you go to find it later, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to remember that. So I would recommend that you always just make the little habit of changing the title of it so you can find it later. And simply that's it. Now, I am always of the habit, like I said, to just endlessly try different designs. And one thing that I wanted to talk about here is I feel personally that it's really important for these for there not to be any logo. I feel that our goal here is to expand where we already are, to lean in and build relationships. So if it were me, I wouldn't put on my coffee mornings like sponsored by Kate Steadman Realtor, right? It kind of immediately, it's like asking if someone has a referral. It kind of immediately takes away that trust. And so I would avoid that if it were me. Now, if it's something that you are creating more intentionally and you want it to be focused and presented by your company, you can. But I do feel that that starts to lean into kind of a client type event territory. The other thing that I would say is with these templates, especially, don't force your branding, right? We all have colors that we are drawn to that make sense on your feed and with your aesthetic. But often, from my own experience, trying to change those colors into something that fits your vibe is just going to look weird, right? Like I tried to do it with one of our coffee mornings. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. I don't even want to look at it, you know? And so if it is something that is kind of aesthetically pleasing, people are going to spend more time looking at it already. And so lean in, right? With that, I already got rid of it, but with the book club one, right? Changing those books, if it makes sense, we can, but don't go over the top, right? I'm not going to change these to like pink and orange plants. It wouldn't make sense. If it does and it feels good and it looks good, go for it. But I would steer clear in that regard. And then the last thing is play around with it, right? You can move things around, you can try a bunch of different templates, but at the end of the day, you love those designs, me too. Done is better than perfect. And again, our goal here isn't to create some client event that takes a lot of planning. It is to show up somewhere we already are and to make the invitation to it just a little more elevated than that group text that we were going to send. Now, obviously, we're focused on Canva. Like I said, that part of it is very fast. But do you guys have any questions about any of that so far? Okay, it's pretty straightforward. You just kind of search and find something you like and retype the info, right? That said, I did want to lean in a little bit. If this is something that you aren't sending in a group text, if this is something that you want to invite more people to, use whatever platform you like. There's a million of them. Lately, I have been really loving Partyful. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that yet. It's become much more popular. It's an Eventbrite type platform, but it's really easy to create. And so for that boat day, for instance, we had a ton of information that we needed to share with people. We needed them to know what dock we were going to be at, how much it was per person, what we were bringing, what it was up to them, and needed to be able to update them in real time if weather got bad and we had to cancel whatever the case may be. And so Partyful can be a really good option if you are trying to do something that's more formal and you're trying to invite people that you might not know already. Obviously, like I said, we sent it to our friends, but you can also publish it. And so you can make it public, especially if it's recurring, it's easier to build traction. And so if it's something that you're going to post on social media, for instance, I would recommend also posting it on that platform because then you can start to scale it in a way that's more meaningful. Um, Now, obviously, we're all about Canva and there are a ton of options here, but one of the other benefits of them is as you are creating it, it will use AI to generate some different graphics for the little placeholder. Now, I decided that I didn't like the little boat one that it created, which is why I made that little Austin summer one, but it will do the work for you. But like you can see here, because that information was going to have all of the stuff I just listed, I wanted this graphic to be really simple. I don't need to have like $100 per person, and this is what, like, none of that needs to be on this graphic. It just needed to be kind of a placeholder. And I probably would have done the same even if I'd sent it as a group text. Um, One thing here on that note, if you wanted to create it yourself, you can also go into their elements section and search for anything that you would like. So in this case, obviously it sees what page I'm on, but maybe I want to search for water. It's going to come up with graphics, it's going to have photos, and I can pull options from there if it looks. If those work, great. If not, no worries. You can always Google something and put it in. Another feature I really liked, I'll mention it just because it's on this one, but I don't recall where I got this image from, but it was with like a regular boat, and I wanted it to be representative of the boat that we were going to use. I went ahead and found a photo of this boat. Let's see, reset edits. Okay. And I just used the background remover tool. So if I move this out of the way, what I had done was I used the eraser tool and erased something. So you can see it here, magic eraser. I selected the boat that used to be there. I don't think I can like bring it back now, but I erased that. I put this one about where I wanted it and just clicked background eraser and then moved it. So all of that to say, if you wanted to put yourself on there or you wanted to like hold a tennis racket, if you had some photo or you have a cute book photo that you want to use, if you have something that you would like, you can certainly insert it into the design in a way that makes sense. So that's what I've got for y'all. I don't have anything crazy. I know it's a fast one, like I said, but truly their templates do all the work for you. So it's mainly just about figuring out what you want to lean into and doing that. Questions, thoughts?
Kate, how much is Partyful? Like, is it
Mm,
free? Is
I
there a
think it's
cost?
free. I think it's free.
What?
Yeah,
Great. Thanks.
sure. Anything else? Cool. We'll keep it going. Thanks for spending part of your day with me, you guys. Like I said, I know it's a short one, but if you create something, I would love to see it. So send it my
Thank
way
you.
by email or send me a text, whatever the case may be. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Bye.